Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Happy holidays.
Hey there.
Happy holidays.
Same to you.
2 minutes to go. Mr. Garver, are you able to hear me? Sound check.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very good.
I'm planning.
Happy Friday, everybody.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Yes, happy Friday, everybody. So today we're going to change the world. We're going to come up with some programs and processes to lower the age of home ownership and to exponentially change the complexity of clients that we have. All right. I see some messages there. Is anyone, just by curiosity, has anyone used any grant programs in the past month or special financing to help anybody become a first-time home buyer?
Yes, this is Lisa from Florida. I actually, for the first time, helped a first-time home buyer, age 27, purchase a new home with a grant from the city of Tamarack. It was really hard work, but we managed to do it.
And how much of a grant were you able to get?
$40,000 from the city.
How much?
Wow.
$40,000.
Wow.
And how does that work? Is it
You have to apply to the city together with the mortgage lender, so she got a mortgage plus the grant from the city, and it takes about 2 months to close, the earliest, because they're very slow, but it can be done.
That's amazing, Lisa. Thank you for sharing that. Anyone else have used either a first-time home buyer loan program or a grant or down payment assistance? I'm going to say in the past month, and if not, I'm going to go to maybe the past year. I'm just curious. If you have, you unmute yourself there, Vicky. You did one?
But 10 years ago, and if you he only got 5,000, but if he sold it before 5 years, he lost it and he had to pay it back. And there was one recently in Garland, Texas, that I just didn't want to fool with. It was too, and of course, it's certain neighborhoods, certain zip codes.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing. And Lisa, I'm coming back to you because you're more recent. How large was the purchase price that you got a $40,000 grant?
$95,000.
So you got almost over a 40% subsidy.
Yes, we did. The catch is she has to live in it for the next 15 years.
And then I assume that if she moved out in 14 years, it would probably be prorated, right?
Correct.
Okay. I want to, I'm going to share my screen here. And let's see. Find the right. So I just did a little bit of research here about grants that are available through a down payment assistance website I found. And this was all the grants that are available in New Jersey, just from doing a little bit of research. Okay. 1, 2, 45, 37, 37, 37, 30, 30. Those two 30s are out of funds, 26,000 up to 3.5%, 22,000, 20, 15, and 5,000. Now, I've been doing this business a long time. I'm not up to date on any of these, so I think this is going to be one of the huge opportunities that we have. And I am not going to get political on this topic, but I just want to let you know that all of the 8 prior presidents all have had initiatives and priorities on making home ownership affordable. Going back to Jimmy Carter, he signed the Housing and Community Development Act authorizing almost 300,000 affordable units. He said President Carter wanted all Americans to have a home, and he understood that housing shapes people's ability to take care of their families, make a good living, and be economically successful. His successor, Ronald Reagan, signed the Fair Housing Amendment Acts and said homeownership is among the foremost values of the American people. Once again, the American family can afford the American home. George Bush, he expanded the FHA program and neighborhood stabilization, noting Americans need to know that help is available. Our housing market will be able to recover, and that recovery will help our broader economy grow. Bill Clinton, there is no more crucial building block for a strong community and a promising future than a solid home. His administration partnered with the FHA and local governments to expand affordable housing. George Bush, Barack Obama, Joe Biden, and Donald Trump all had pro-housing policies, and this is part of what our political structure. One of the few things that we can all agree on is housing is good for the American people. Okay, so with that context and that background, if you're here and you want to change the world, I'm going to talk about our Keys at 33 Paris Challenge a little bit later on, but I want to invite our first guest speaker today, Mr. Cameron Bruce. Cameron, you want to say hi?
Hello, everybody. Thanks, Rob. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
All right. And Cameron, why don't you give an introduction? Cameron's on our Pennsylvania RE/MAX affiliates lending team. Give us a little bit of an introduction, and then share with us some of the specific programs for Pennsylvania, and maybe some even more generic programs that we can all benefit from.
Awesome. Awesome. I'd love to do it. Hello, everybody. I'm Cameron Bruce. I'm the regional manager of Homefront Mortgage. Like Rob said, I'm part of the RE/MAX team here in PA. I do business in PA, Delaware, Jersey, and Maryland. And I'm going to share with you some information on how you could qualify and help educate your first-time home buyers to get them into that home. I'm just trying to share my screen right now. There we go. All right. Boom. So hopefully you all could see that.
Yes, we can.
Awesome. This may seem incredibly basic, everybody, but what is a first-time home buyer? Now, I bring this up for a reason. It's anybody that hasn't had a property interest in the last 3 years. So a lot of people have had a client, they owned a home 5 years ago, something happened, they've been renting for the last 4 years. They too could qualify as a first-time home buyer. Now, the first question I ask any potential client, any potential buyer as a lender is how much money you have for a down payment. One of the biggest misconceptions that I've always heard is, I don't have the 20% to put down. That is incredibly false. At that point, what we do for the clients is an asset optimization review. We try to educate our clients and empower them to choose what's best for them. In my eyes, less is more. Putting down 5% and having more money to put in a 401k, or maybe more money to invest in a property in the future, makes a lot more financial sense than putting 20% down on your first home. Now, this is a loan we closed last month. It wasn't a $40,000 grant or 40% of the purchase price, but this is what this is what we do on a daily basis. Purchase price of the home was $220,000. Prepaid items, escrows, about $5,400. Closing costs outside of that, transfer taxes, title, lender fees, $11,000. It was an FHA loan, so upfront mortgage insurance, $3,700. Conveyance fee and owner's title about $1,000, and then $600 for initial escrow deposit. And the closing costs were upwards of $21,775. Now, what we did for that client, because they were cash strapped, is we found subordinate financing, a second lien that they could have for down payment assistance of about $7,700. And then, one of our great Remax agents got them a seller credit of about $12,000, which meant that the buyer came to the closing table with $2,075. Those closing costs and down payment went from 10% less than 1%. Their new mortgage payment was less than $2,000, less than what they brought to the closing table, and it was less than what they were paying in rent. Now, how do we do that? This person got a private grant, but what's available to a lot of people is both public and private grants, and we've heard about that already. It's financial assistance to first-time home buyers, often acting as a silent second that is sometimes or most times forgivable after 5 or 10 years. And what it does is reduce the burden of upfront costs. Private grants stretch up to $5,000 in additional financial support, but sometimes come with a slightly higher interest rate or repayment terms for borrowers. Now, biggest place that I do business and my partners do business is Pennsylvania, and Pennsylvania Housing Finance Agency has what's called their K-FIT program, Keystone Forgivable in 10 years. It's a grant of up to 5% of the purchase price with 0% interest and 0% payment. Every year that you're in the home, it's forgivable by 10%. So this is kind of what Rob was talking about before. Now, outside of that, what I see and what we heard about is different counties and municipalities have different programs. Delaware County offers a $10,000 grant. Philadelphia, the town or the city of Philadelphia also offers a $10,000 Philly First program. Now, Rob talked about some of the programs available in New Jersey. I know the state has anywhere from 10 to 15,000 available in forgivable grants. Municipalities like Jersey City offer $40,000 in grants, and the County of Essex offers up to $50,000. It's very important that all you guys in your local markets, with a little bit of research through ChatGPT or Google, you can become experts on this. Delaware has a couple different programs that I found. Their preferred plus program, is 3% of the total loan amount. That covers closing costs and down payment. And Diamond in the Rough, which is there for people that want to do rehab loans, is 5% of the purchase price. Just like PA and Jersey, Wilmington offers $15,000 or 6% of the purchase price, up to $20,000 at 0% interest. Now, the last state that I'll talk about is Maryland. Their First Time Advantage program is $6,000 or 3% of the purchase price as a grant. Again, 0% and forgivable. And HomeSmart for borrowers with less money that make less than 50% of the area median income. It's a 0% second loan that they have to keep for 30 years, and that's 6% of the purchase price. And just like the other states, you got the town of Baltimore, city of Baltimore, that offers anywhere from $10,000 to $20,000 grant and down payment, and it's forgivable after 5 years. Now, those are the public ones that are available. As a lender, I keep many different options open, and I have a great company or great companies that do private grants as well. You could get anywhere from 3.5% to 5% of the loan amount for down payment and closing costs. Come anywhere in the form of a silent second mortgage that's forgivable, or they have repayable options as well. What I see is the higher the grant, unfortunately, the higher the rate, right? More money, more higher rate. But what I also see is that if you want to take the repayable options on second, that's a great way to keep the rates down and keep that payment down. Yeah. Last thing I'll leave you with, which is one of the most important things about all this, is why it makes more sense to own a property than it does to rent. Now, I say I do 33% of my business in around the Allentown, Pennsylvania area. The average cost to rent a 3-bed, 2-bath townhouse in Allentown is roughly $2,150. Now, to get into that home, first month's rent, second month's rent, last month's rent, and security deposit is $8,600. Some of you might be saying, why second month's rent? Why last month's rent? Why security deposit? Well, when you buy a home on January 1st, your first mortgage payment is not due until March 1st. But yet when you rent a home January 1st, you have to pay January, you have to pay February, you have to pay March. And of course, there's security deposit. And then again, first month's rent last month. So remember that $600. Yes.
Hey, Cameron, in New Jersey, in many of our markets, the tenant pays the commission as well. So it's really like a 5 month, and we pay a month and a half security, not 1 month. So the difference can be even more significant in certain markets. And I see some blank stares. Maybe they're just not fully comprehending it, because we had to kind of go over this twice to figure out what the real benefit is. But ladies and gentlemen, if you buy a house on January 1st, okay, you don't pay a mortgage payment on February 1st. If you rent a house on January 1st, you have to come up with 3 months of rent, plus you have to pay rent on February 1st. That is a huge difference that an educated renter or buyer really needs to understand, and they need to internalize that, because it's a huge difference. And I think it was a head turner for both of us when we were kind of running through the numbers, right, Cameron?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And we, we put our heads together. We underestimated that number to begin with. And it's astronomical, and it just makes so much more sense to buy. And that's what this is about. So the average purchase price for that same townhouse is $235,000. Using that 10% number as closing cost down payments, that's roughly $2,350. You will use the repayable grant at $8,225 and a hefty seller credit of almost $12,000, and the total cash to close for this same client, this same potential buyer, is $3,525. So I mean, it's a 59% savings to buy the home, and it's $5,000, almost $5,100 cheaper up front. And then not only is it cheaper up front, but to rent that place costs $2,150. To own that place with the mortgage, the second lien, the taxes, the insurance, the PMI is less than $2,000. It's $150 cheaper to own it on a monthly basis. All the while, every month you pay that mortgage, your equity grows. You're receiving the tax benefits of having a mortgage and tax deductible mortgage interest debt. It's just, I don't think a lot of potential clients, I know a lot of potential clients don't know that it's actually cheaper for them to own the house and much better for them in the long run. So everybody, I appreciate your time. My contact info is here. Rob has it. I'll make sure to share my phone number and my email in the chat. If you guys ever have any questions about this, please, you could send me an email. I could do some research on your behalf for your local markets and your local grants, but I truly, truly, truly appreciate all your time.
All right, Cameron, thank you for that. Cameron is our partnered lender. We have a true business joint venture with them in our Philadelphia market. So helping them helps us, and he will help you back tenfold. I stand behind that. I want to introduce our second presenter representing North Jersey. And it's Sharif and Wahid. They're from Cornerstone First Mortgage. They have some programs that are available for our New Jersey team, and some of these might be national programs. So, Sharif, if you want to, Sharif and Wahid, if you want to share the screen and talk about what you have, and let's get everybody excited here.
Yeah, of course. Thanks, Rob. Appreciate it. And thanks, Cameron, as well. I mean, that's some excellent stuff you presented. We also offer the same exact programs in New Jersey for first-time home buyers, very similar to what Pennsylvania and Maryland does. So, going off what he said, it's a lot easier now to buy versus rent. I mean, the cost of rent in New Jersey is much higher than what it is in Pennsylvania, and buying a home nowadays is going to cost you a lot less than renting. So If anybody has any questions about those first-time home buyer programs with NJHMFA and all that, you can reach out to me or Wahid. That being said, we're going to present some unique products and programs that are available.
Sure. Why don't you have your email? Why don't you just click the slideshow? So
Yeah, I'm going to do that right now. We have some unique programs that I think would help a lot of people out with first-time home buyer programs. I'm going to let Wahid take over and go over.
Hello, everyone. My name is Wahid. Thank you for having me.
Hey.
Just to pick up where Sharif said, we can offer everything, mostly every other lender. Am I?
Yeah, consider that. About Shalom.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
Someone talking?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yep.
Okay.
I'm going to mute Wahid.
Everyone, please.
I'm going to mute everybody here, and then you can unmute yourself there.
Okay.
Unmute yourself, Wahid, and then you can go.
All right. Sorry about that. So, we can, as a lender, we offer the same thing as everyone else in terms of FHA, conventional loans, non-QM. But to differentiate ourselves from everyone, we have a lot of unique programs for everyone that doesn't fit the mold. Because everyone doesn't fit the mold. There are so many different type of people, so many different situations that these loans don't fit in, and we come in and we take that loan and create a denial into a closing. And we've shown time and time again that we are able to do this with, just most recently, we had a loan with Remax and Morristown, Rockaway, that we just closed in 2 weeks that it was denied somewhere else. So I won't get into the specifics of that, but I will get into the programs that we have, just to be brief. So one of the programs we have is, can you guys see my screen? It says VOE portfolio, right?
Yep, we can.
Okay. So we have FHA loans at 3.5% down that are written verification of employment only. It is conforming to all the FHA guidelines. The only difference is that we use a written verification of employment. Now, people that would use this program would be people that are working for cash, that don't show all their income.
So Wahid, do they need to say how much they earned, or they just verify that they work there?
No, they need to show how much that they earn.
They do show, right?
So we have a lot of situations where, I have a customer, they make 50,000, but they actually make 120,000, but their employer pays them half off the books, half on the books. So this is for customers like that allow the customers to get into the loan with just the verification employment that the pay stubs might not show the income. Another program we have, which this one is we would use a lot more, because that verification employment program is only for certain people that it fits the mold for. We have a 3.5% down program for self-employed borrowers. So what happens a lot is a lot of these business owners have a ton of revenue, but they don't show all their income on their tax returns. So what we have realized is that these self-employed borrowers perform a lot better on their mortgage than W-2 wage earners. So they opened up the program to allow the business owners just to qualify based on a profit and loss of the business.
Can you can you click to the next slide? I think you're on the next slide.
Let's see. Is this it right here? Right here?
That's it. Yep.
All right. So sorry, I have a couple screens going at the same time. So it's 3.5% down FHA loan, just like the other program. But in lieu of getting tax returns, we get a profit and loss statement for the business prepared by the business owner and use that as income. Now, I'm sure all of you had pre-approvals that the person says they make $25,000 a month, but then you bring it to the mortgage guy and they make $30,000 a year. So this is what we use for people like that, where we know that the revenue is there, especially on their gross receipts. But instead of doing the tax returns, we allow them to get into the program and use that 3.5% down to get into the FHA program. It's really all the same traditional guidelines as FHA. The only difference is the income requirements, and the credit score requirement is minimum 640. So everything else is an FHA loan. And what I tell these customers is that once you get in, you could also use the FHA Streamline. You can refinance down the line with no income, no appraisal, streamline your rate down. So you get all the benefits of being in an FHA loan. You just don't have to provide tax returns.
So Wahid and Sharif, these are some pretty niche products. And in the past, what we used to have to do with these buyers is say, hey, next year when you file your tax returns, you need to be a little bit more conscious of the deductions you take so you can qualify for a mortgage. And this looks to be a very niche solution that will create opportunities for the ever increasing amount of people that are self-employed, and creates a challenge for home ownership.
That's correct.
So,
yeah.
so I that's, this mastermind today was originally designed for me to talk about things that we could do. And I said to myself, I need to talk to our lenders, find out what they can do to help buyers that are denied home ownership now be able to get into being a homeowner. And this product here was, in my opinion, an amazing lending product. I mean, the grants are great. All of the things that Cameron talked about are amazing, but this is a pass or fail test, right? If you have the money but you can't qualify, it's no house for you. And here's a solution. So Wahid, we have about another 3 minutes before we have to turn it over to another guest speaker. So I appreciate it. This is just so amazing. But go ahead.
All right. So and the last one I just wanted to touch on is that we have 1099 only program where that's at 90%. That's at 10% down. That's more for Uber drivers, people that are maybe realtors that make a ton in 1099 but don't want to show their tax return. We use up to 90%, sometimes 100% of the 1099, and use that as income instead of getting the tax return. So we have all these alternative ways to qualify people if they don't meet the exact check marks of qualifying for a loan. If they miss a check, we take them down the line and make sure we vet them on every single thing we have available. We also make sure they have the ability to repay. We're not just trying to put anyone into these loans. We really vet them to make sure that they actually are qualified by themselves to make these mortgage payments, because we don't want to put people in a home that they don't qualify for, that they can't make the payment for.
Wonderful. Have any closing comments before we turn it over to the next speaker, Wahid or Sharif?
Yeah, I mean, he did a great job of presenting. Anytime anybody gets stuck on a purchase or any type of loan, we're very good at bailing out a lot of buyers from their current situation, turn downs. I mean, usually when it comes across our desk, we get it done. If we can't get it done, there's 99.9% chance that nobody can get it done, because we have creative ways of getting loans done with our products and programs outside the traditional programs.
And Sharif, I want to mention, this is all legitimate creative ways. This is not underhanded ways, because I know I know Sharif for 20 years, and these are products and ways that we can help people get into homes that they can afford, not putting people into precarious situations. And that's my challenge to all of our lending partners. Sorry to interrupt, Sharif.
I'll give you 60-second snapshot because we don't have too much time. We don't have too many. We don't have any default issues with any of our loans that we've been doing on these programs the last 3 years. We don't have any problems with that. We're not going to put somebody in a situation where they're not going to be able to afford a mortgage. If we know a landscaper is um, making money and he's making money off the books, but we know the money's there and his credit is great and he has a down payment money, we know a written verification program is going to work for him, right? So
Yeah, we see the bank deposits, so we know how much they're making. It's just they're just not showing it.
So
Yeah, so Wahid, if you could stop sharing, I just want to see if anybody has any questions before we turn the mantle over to our next speaker.
So, Rob, I have a question that isn't necessarily relating to the programs that we've talked about so far, but it does ask a question towards our lenders, and that is if we're a seller and we receive, a mortgage commitment from a buyer from a bank that we know nothing about and never heard about, uh, can we present that to our lender for him to review and help us to feel more comfortable about it?
I mean, you need to protect the interests of your seller, Robert. So I would say that that's probably a really sound business practice. Saying, hey, you know what, you need to talk to our lender just to make sure that the seller feels comfortable. You want to have that communication with the seller in advance, and I think that's a very, very solid business practice that you're talking about. All right. If there's no other, now I hope everybody sees this is, I mean, our lenders, I stand behind, like they're not going to not return your call. All of them are vetted, but this is not about, trying to, write extra mortgage business. This is about providing solutions for us to open more doors for people to buy homes and also send you to Paris. All right. The Paris trip. Let me pull this up here. I'm going to just share that for everybody for a moment. So our trip to Paris, and it's in the email that you got. The Keys at 33 Paris Challenge is the REMAX mission to lower the age of first-time home buyers back to age 33. Okay. For individual agents, you can enroll in this program. It's $200. And the criteria, the criteria is you must do 4 buyer events in 2026 and attend 2 of 3 in-person brainstorming mastermind sessions, path home roundtables, whatever you want to call them, where I am going to listen to what you have to say, some of the great ideas, and we're going to share it with our universe of agents. We want to see you increase your buyer side sales by between 4 and 6 extra sales, depending upon how many sales you did last year. Okay, if you had less than 6 sales last year, you need to add 8 buyer side sales to your number. If you've had 7 to 14 sales last year on the buyer side, you need to add 6. And if you've done 15 or more buyers in the past 12 months, you need to only add 4 extra transactions to qualify. And the crowning moment will be on Monday night. We're going to have a sunset visit to the Eiffel Tower, and we'll do all the celebrating on the top of the Eiffel Tower. That's a zero moment of truth here. All right. I think it's very attainable. There will be some boosts that I'm going to talk about a little bit later. If you wanted to do an alternate path, you can do 8 buyer events and get 50 people pre-approved from those events, and do a total of 6 transactions in total. Teams are also eligible. Okay, a team can register for $500, elect 2 team members. Each additional team member is $100. Teams can qualify, the team members can qualify. It's all on this particular sheet and in the email. So, I am actually looking forward to having everybody get to meet some of your colleagues across the country and have a really awesome time in Paris together. All right. And it's all under your control. It's got to help a few more people, make a few more dollars, and be prepared to have some fun. All right. So we're going to go on to our next speaker. which is a co-colleague of mine from my mortgage days, is going to be Marty Witzberg. Marty, are you there? Also,
let me get my my video going. Can you see me okay?
yeah, and Marty, yeah, we can see you, Marty. And Marty has a unique program that he wants to talk about. And if you want to share your screen, if you have anything, Marty, and you're on, brother.
Okay, it's good to talk to you, Rob. Yeah, Rob and I worked together many years ago, and I appreciate Rob having me on. So I'm Marty Witzberg. I'm with Cornerstone First Mortgage. I have the privilege of working with Sharif and Wahid. We work for the same company in different offices, but
And Tiffany, who was here before all of us.
oh, and Tiffany also.
Yes, Tiffany from Tinton Falls. But go ahead, Marty.
So I'm going to talk about a couple of programs that maybe haven't been touched upon yet, but I think I just want to talk a little bit in general terms about the first-time homebuyer market. I think it's really the most important thing that we do is work with first-time homebuyers. You know, in this current situation, when you're looking for step-up buyers, people that are looking to sell and go to a bigger house, or people are looking to downsize because, you know, they're maybe getting a little older, a lot of those people are not selling today, right? And we all know they're not selling. Why? They're sitting on 3% mortgages. And so a lot of them are sitting on the fence and are not selling. So, you know, our big group of people that we're going to go after are first-time homebuyers. As a realtor, your knowledge of the first-time homebuyer market and the programs that are out there is critical. It's the most important thing. If you don't know about a program and the realtor down the street knows about that program, you could lose that buyer easily. So you really want to be well informed. You want to know what those products are that are out there so that you understand the market. I had a person that I've done business with for many years, is a realtor, came to me the other day and asked me a question and said, does my first-time homebuyer need to put down 20%? And this is a realtor who's been in the business for 20 years. The fact that they don't know that they could do 3% down or 5% down and that there's grant programs, it's an education thing. They're not taking the time to learn what's in the market. So as a realtor, my suggestion is learn everything you can about the programs. Make sure you're well versed in them so that you can explain them to people. Most of the first-time home buyers that you're going to encounter are going to have challenges, such as the ones that Sharif and Wahid were talking about. Those challenges, if you can't relate to them solutions for the challenges, you're going to lose those first-time home buyers. So not everybody's going to walk in your door and say that they can put 20% down and that they have $200,000 in income. And not everybody's going to walk in that they're ready to buy. So what are your buyers' challenges? Is it their assets? Maybe they don't have enough money to put down. Okay. So now you're going to look at the grant loans, and we do a lot of New Jersey grant loans, which can get them $15,000 or $22,000, which they can use for down payment and closing costs. Maybe we're going to put them into 100% financing. So we have FHA programs where they can put no money down and get a first and second mortgage. Again, if they're asset challenged, those are the type of programs you're going to look at. Maybe their program, maybe their issue is payment. So they're uptight about interest rates. We have 3% down programs with no PMI, with lower interest rates. Okay.
And Marty, do you have programs for non-citizens?
We do. Yep. One of the challenges that we have is FHA did away with the ability to use work permits when you're getting a mortgage if it's an FHA loan. So we still have programs out there where you can put 5% down, you could put 3% down, and you can work with people that have work permits. There's also programs out there for people that have ITIN numbers. So they don't have a work permit, they don't have social security numbers. We have specific programs that cater to that market as well. So all these markets and all these programs, the more you know about them, the more you're going to be able to help your buyer. So we talked about asset challenges. We talked about 3% down and maybe getting them a lower interest rate. The other thing is a lot of your buyers may come to you with credit issues. So we have the experience and we have the ability to help them to improve their credit, to get better interest rates, or to improve their credit to get into better programs. So maybe they have a 560 credit score, and we need to do a rapid rescore and get them to 580. Or maybe we need to get them from 590 to 620 so they can get a grant. We have
So,
programs that go as low as 500 on a credit score on FHA. So it's
Marty,
important that you know these things.
Marty, I want to just share with everybody here that one of the biggest mistakes that I've seen is not engaging a lender early on in the process, because I've seen everybody that's been speaking here, including Marty, when I used to be, in the office next door to him, meet somebody 6 months before they buy, fix their credit. When they buy, it's a stress-free experience instead of having to do a rapid rescore and everything else. Um, so if you have people that you're talking to and their lease is coming up in, October or August or October, have them plan in advance. Okay. People spend more time planning for a wedding than they do planning to buy their house. Okay. And planning to buy your house, you can save probably tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars by just doing some small things in advance and not doing it 60 days before you want to close. Is that true, gentlemen and ladies on the call who
Like not everybody that you talk to is going to be ready to buy today. So putting them into a situation where maybe they're going to be ready this week, next week, maybe it's 6 months. The preparation is everything. And when you take the time as a realtor to help them to fix their credit, to get into a grant program, they're going to stay with you because you've taken the time to help them in this process, which can be complicated for people. So the more knowledge you give them and the more time you put in, the better chance that they're going to stay with you through the whole process.
and Marty, I'm going to wrap this up, but I want to say one thing that you had told me the last time we spoke is that, and I want to make sure I'm saying this correctly, somebody with a work visa that expires in 6 months or a year can still get a mortgage without having a green card or without being a citizen.
They could have a work permit, and the work permit's expiring. They just have to show us that they've applied for their extension, and they can get a mortgage for sure.
That's amazing. So what we're talking about here, everybody on this call, this is not worrying about somebody getting a loan from somebody else or buying with somebody else. This is creating new homeowners by educating them on what's available. Okay. And I'll bet you, maybe they won't admit it, but I'll bet you even our lenders on the call are going to learn one or two things from this session. Okay. I would bet my last dollar on that, but Marty, thank you. And again, if you work with any of these speakers today, if you ever have an issue, which I'm sure I'll never get a call, I will personally take the call because I stand behind every single one of them. I've never seen them mislead anybody. So you will have no issues. Okay. We're going on to another one of our business partners, Frank Delpesh, who services our Florida market, and he also has some select clients here in New Jersey. Frank, are you here? We have so many people on, I don't see you.
I'm here.
All right, Frank, your dream. I like that.
My dream. You see this?
All right, so Florida Frank, talk to us.
Okay, let's go. First of all, Cameron, Wahid, Sharif, great to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. And Marty, thank you. The nice thing about going last is I just deleted like 2 slides from my presentation because I'm not going to repeat everything that was just spoke about, but there are a lot of everybody just presented a lot of great information, and knowledge is power. Rob, do you see my screen?
Yes, we don't see the presentation. We just see your screensaver.
Okay, hold on a second. Let's go to this one right here.
Maybe stop sharing and reshare. It'll probably come up. There you go. We got it now.
Got it? All right.
Yep.
So knowledge, obviously, and Marty was just touching on this, is just education. And that's what we do. We do this. We've been doing, all of us on this call have been doing this for a long time. I know everybody on this call, the lenders that are here, we've all been in this business for a long time. The one thing we do is educate our buyers because we do this every day. Agents sell homes every day. I mean, well, not every day, but we take for granted that people know or don't know, but our biggest thing is just educating the buyers. So I try to put everything in layman's terms because how often do clients buy a home? 1, 3, 5 times in their lifetime? It just depends. So what I'll do is just talk about what they need to know and just educate them on the home buying process. So obviously, knowledge is power. Again, not to keep going on about down payments, but there are the down payment from the grants, from the state, from the local counties that are available, and educating them. And just like Lisa had mentioned earlier, from the one town in Florida, up to $40,000 for a grant. That is unbelievable. So you don't need a big down payment. And as Marty had mentioned, that FHA, you can go in with the 3.5% down payment. You can get a 6% seller concession, and basically you can walk into a home with no money down. So there are a lot of great programs out there. Home buyers are eligible for the down payment assistance of 1, 2, 3, and 5%, just depending on the program, whether it's conventional or FHA. Obviously, any loan that has less than 20% down does require mortgage insurance. And then we have reserve requirements, but we could talk about that at a different time.
So Frank,
Conventional. Go ahead.
Frank, I want to just interrupt you for 1 second, and probably going to make you blush here, but one of Frank's and Frank is a business partner. Motto is common ownership with the Remax, so they're truly a business partner. And Frank, probably one of the highest compliments, he gets referred by other lenders that can't do loans. Okay, so sometimes it's with a Remax agent who's working. They want to go to their local credit union. The credit union says, we can't approve you. The loan officer at the credit union or the agent at Remax refers Frank, and Frank's like, that's easy. I know we're 45 days into this. And what's the record you've done for a closing for a credit union reject?
8 days, start to finish. The loan was cleared to close in 2 days on a purchase, and we closed the loan in 8 days.
Right. So that's not about that's filling a void. And I'll tell you, the people are so deflated. They feel like there's something wrong with them. But some of these lenders, they only have 1 or 2 products. And if you don't fit in the 4 corners of the sheet of paper, you're denied. But they are solid buyers. And to my knowledge, Frank, every single one of them has been a paying, satisfied home buyer referring our Remax agents more business, which is amazing. So this is about, if somebody gets denied, don't be like, oh, it's so sad, especially if it's like a national lender, like a Wells Fargo or Chase or a local credit union, who they don't have access to products to help qualified people get into homes. That's what I'm passionate about. I want to help people. All right. So sorry to take away from your time, Frank. You only have like another 90 seconds. So make good use of that for me, please.
So anyway, thanks, Rob. I appreciate that. But yeah, we do get a lot of fallout from credit unions and other lenders that just can't do the deal. So I welcome those and we appreciate them. But again, just talking about our conventional pricing, we can go up to 160% of the area median income. So if the area median income is 120,000, we can go up to 160% of that for these 1, 2, or 3% down programs on conventional. FHA, 2% down payment or 3.5% of the purchase price has a down payment. Again, these are great grant programs. Some of them are repayable, some of them are not. It just depends if you stay in the home and how long you stay in the home for. Typically, it's anywhere between 3 and 5 years. And again, it's a sliding scale. So you do have to pay it back. Or if you stay in it for more than 36 months, you don't have to. Seller concessions are allowed. And we also offer buy down. So if you want to have a seller concession, you could buy the rate down. So if the start rate is 6%, the first year, if you do a 2.0 buy down, the first year rate will be 4%. The second year rate will be 5%. And then years and then the rest of the term for the next 28 years will be at the 6%. So we do offer buy downs. They are available on these grant and gift programs. Manufactured homes are also welcome when we don't run out of funds, because some of them are private, some of them are state and county and local grants. Again, these are some of the highlights of these programs. So I know we have limited time here, but we will always look at and validate pre-approvals. I know somebody was asking about validating pre-approvals. I get a lot of my agents say, Frank, I have this loan officer who pre-approved the buyer. Can you validate it for me? And we do that. So the answer is yes, we will validate pre-approvals. So that's one thing we do. And if we can obviously beat that rate or beat that program or offer a better terms and conditions, we would love that opportunity. The last thing I want to talk about too is we talked about other programs that are available. Foreign national programs are available for people that don't have U.S. credit. So we get a lot of Canadians moving down to Florida. So that's one of the programs. ITIN, no socials. Those are also welcome. DSCR for first-time investors, that's allowable. That's where we qualify the property, not the borrower. So as long as the cash flow is there to cover the mortgage from the rent, that's how we do the DSCRs. Non-warrantable condos, big in Florida, huge in Florida. Renovation loans, construction loans, self-employed. We all talked about the bank statement, the 1099s, asset depletion. I had a borrower that didn't qualify. I looked at her tax return. She made $7,000 a month on her tax return. But when we did her bank statement, when we looked at her 12-month bank statement, she made $19,000 a month. So instead of using the tax return, we actually used the bank statement to qualify, and we closed that loan. So these are just some of the other programs that we have. HELOCs, I know a lot of people don't want to refinance their first mortgages, so because they have a great 3% interest rate. So we have HELOCs available, and also bridge financing to remove the home sale contingency. So there's a lot of programs. We all offer the same thing. Again, we would love the opportunity to talk about or answer any questions, or if there's anything else that we can do to help expedite and close some deals. All of us lenders do appreciate it. And Rob, thank you for letting us present today.
All right, Frank, if you could stop sharing the screen for me, that would be great. All right. Now, who's interested in the Paris contest? Just put your camera on and raise your hand. I just want to get an idea. All right. And who was at our Arizona event that wants to unmute and say like how that was, if that was helpful for you? Any Arizona people? Come on.
Well, I'll say seeing the Arizona stuff and all the new things coming from Remax was incredible. But let me tell you, the connections that we all made that day and the conversations that got started that I didn't think were going to happen were really cool to have. So I appreciate you, Rob.
I'll jump in as well. I thought the summit was outstanding. And as Wilson said, the information that came from Remax Travis was very inspirational. And I think we have lots of opportunities.
Fantastic. Thank you, Tricia. So, yeah, you have tremendous opportunities. So you can go out in March, you can go to Paris, and then November, you can go to our next leadership summit, likely to be in Denver, Colorado, a T2 summit. You just need to make the Platinum Club, and then you'll be invited to T2. And I want to talk a little bit more about our event, our contest. And I want to share with you some new resources and go through the rules in a little bit more detail. Number one, a lot of times I get the question from everybody, do we have a list of all of our office locations? I want to use that when I go on a listing to show the strength of our network. On our hub, we have a list of these. I'm going to show this to you. So our hub is, can you all see that? Yes? Okay, so it's Go Remax Select. And then if you click on the Agent Hub, it will show you the different markets. So you can click on, for example, New Jersey. It will show you our local calendar of events. This is a brand new tab, first time home buyer resources. Okay, these are going to be for products and programs that we all share when we do our roundtables. And it's going to be a way that we can help people become first time home buyers. And we can, as an organization, we can make a difference in the trajectory of the first time home buyers, which is now at age 40. I want to bring that back down to 33, or at least have an impact on that. Here's all of our New Jersey locations, leadership team, and here's our resources. Okay. So mastermind recordings, we have links of things that we provide you for. So this is state specific. You can get to it if you click on the main link here. You get a list of all of our office locations on the bottom, okay, by state. So you have all this at your disposal. To qualify to go to Paris, you need to register. It's limited to 100. Right now we're well over 1,000 associates. It's limited to 100, so 10%. It's a $200 registration fee. And if you meet the criteria, which is very attainable, but it does require work, it does require changing what you're doing. You'll be getting a flight. You'll be staying at a 4-star hotel. All the transportation and activities from when you get to Paris will be covered. Okay. It's a tremendous commitment on my part, but I know that that we can change a lot of lives. We can do better for ourselves, and that's the challenge if you're up to it. Okay. Does anybody have any questions or thoughts? Is everybody speechless?
Rob, I have a question about the buyer events. Can you go into more detail about what the requirements are there?
So the buyer events will be basically what were traditionally known as like first time buyer or buyer education events. We will do them with our vetted partners, our title and mortgage partners, and we will have procured content that you can share so you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Okay, so
Right.
we have prepared slide decks, and by getting together and masterminding as a group, I hope to improve that. And then I want to share it with everybody, and then we can educate the buyer community, and basically, I am such a disbeliever of people who say prices are too high, we can't afford to buy. I'm a victim, right? Nobody's a victim. Okay, it might take a little bit of work. It takes a lot of education, and we can take renters and turn them into buyers. I mean, that example from Cameron Bruce at the beginning, somebody can get in for 59% less cash. And I'm sitting here with Marilyn, who slid me a note saying that, was it your sister?
My mother's house in Staten Island, it's in New York City part. They got $100,000 grant to purchase this 2-bedroom townhouse. And it's a New York City grant, home first down payment. I didn't believe it at first. I thought it was not real, but it is real.
So that's I'm sorry, so that's the benefit of just sharing as a group. Okay. Now on the email, there's let me show you on here. There's a registration link right over here is your registration link. If you want to go, you need to pick if you're a team or an individual. And the $200 registration fee is automatically being able to be done on that link. And I'm closing out enrollment as of the end of the year. So I think it's the perfect time. It's the perfect time. It's the perfect market. It's time to step up and help people. And, the T2 events that we've done have been, amazing networking events. It's been an amazing exchange of information. This will be the same, but it will also be like the celebration of all celebrations for us to spend some time with people from different parts of the country, standing on the top of the Eiffel Tower. And I hope it doesn't rain like it did in Arizona. That's all I got to say. So if you're in, sign up for it. We're going to start putting together the processes. I will be in my travels. I will be personally hosting as many of those events as humanly possible because I'm passionate about this. And I truly want to change the world in all the markets that we're in. I want to help every one of you on this call, and I want to create home owners that never thought that they could buy a home or thought they had to wait till they're 40. And I want to move the needle on that. So I know we're 1 minute over. Does anybody have any questions about this? If you're excited, put your camera on and give me a thumbs up. All right, we have a lot of thumbs up. Anybody have any questions about the rules, the contest? You want me? Anybody so confident you want me to book your ticket now?
I have a question. It says criteria number 3, but I don't see the criteria number 3. Could you please?
Let me pull it up. Where do you see criteria number 3?
Can you pull it up again so I can read it to you, please?
Hold on. I'll share my screen. All right, you see it?
Yes. So yes, let me just yes, so it says do the qualifying activity and meet one of the 3 performance criteria. I see criteria 1, criteria 2, but I don't see criteria 3.
Criteria 3 is for the teams.
Oh, okay.
So teams have a whole different path.
Okay, got it.
So team leaders can qualify if they register their team. They have to have at least 25 buyer sides and a 35% increase collectively over the prior year. And each individual team member can qualify by improving their units by 4 buyer side transactions with a minimum of 8. Okay, so team members have their own path. Team leaders have a path. As an agent, you can do criteria 1 or criteria 2. I think criteria 1 probably is more appropriate, but I've given 2 paths. And in the upcoming weeks, there's going to be some boosts that we're going to do where right now I'm putting together with our partners some plans where maybe if you refer your next 5 buyers to a lender, a preferred lender, a title, insurance, or a home warranty, that you can get a bonus unit for qualifying. So that if you fall 1 unit short by doing that, you'll have an extra unit in your pocket. Okay, so I want to make it attainable. I don't want to have it be, oh, one deal didn't close in December, moved to January, and bye Paris. You have some alternative ways to get backup units.
So Rob, I just wanted to mention that in the comments section, a couple of people are saying that when they try to scan that document, it says document not found.
Okay, I'll make sure we get that fixed. But the registration link is in the email for today's session, and you can click on the big button in there.
Hey Rob, I'm checking Anne's emails, and I don't see one from you about this.
You don't see so if you don't have an email, didn't get an email. So if you're in Remax Select Partners, reach out to Nicole. If you're in Florida, reach out to Ivy. I'll make sure Ivy has a copy of it. If you're in Arizona, I will make sure that Tyler and Cindy have it. If you're in Pennsylvania, you could reach out to Tom Patterson. He'll have a link that he could forward to you. And if all else fails, you could reach out to me via text, please, and I'll send you a copy of it. And anybody in New Jersey, you could reach out to a donor or myself. All right. Anybody have any other questions, thoughts?
I'll share. Katie, that email hit my email box at 6:07 a.m. this morning, Arizona time. I think you guys are 2 hours ahead, so maybe flip at 8:07, you might find it in your mailbox.
Okay.
So under the must attend 2 of the 3 90-minute in-person path home roundtables, is every office going to have an in-person thing, or will this be a Zoom thing, or what's the in-person? Because I don't unless there's somebody coming to our offices to put these on. How do we in person?
That somebody's me.
Okay.
So when I'm in town, I'll be hosting at least 2 of them, if not all of them, because for me, it's a great opportunity for me to meet our friends in Arizona and have a common purpose.
Rob the Road Warrior.
That's it. So anybody have any other questions? I don't know what you need to pack for Paris, but let's start packing. All right.
I just registered.
All right. Lisa's probably the first registrant.
Do the lenders get to go too?
We'll have to figure that out, Frank.
I think that's a phenomenal question, Frank. Great question.
I agree. Let's go. If our team wins, we get to go. Thanks, Rob.
All right, you got it.
Bye, guys.
So Jason, if you didn't get the email, Tom will have it. I'm going to forward it to Tom, and all the regional leadership will have those emails. All right.
Sounds good.
All right, everybody. I'll see you on next Fridays. I look forward to seeing a lot of registrations, and thank you for your time.
Thank you. Bye,
Bye, everybody.
Thanks.